So I'm really sorry that I'm not going to be very cheerful in this video, but I haven't slept for more than 24 hours. I got a pink eye, and this is the fourth time I'm recording because someone keeps entering my room or calling my phone. So take comfort into the fact that no matter how bad your day is, there is someone out there that is more miserable than you, and that should bring you joy. All right, let's talk a little bit about diversity in video gaming. What do you think diversity in video gaming is about? If you answer to get more women into gaming, you're stupid. Sit down and listen to me. Diversity in video gaming is about creating positions of power in order to get individuals that aren't good at doing anything into a comfortable position and making more than $100,000 per year. That's what it is about, all right? Giving power to hacks, people that have nothing to do with video games, people that are going to earn more than developers, and people that are then going to be able to use that platform in order to write in Forbes. Like, I have gone on this lady's Twitter and I have looked at her traffic. She is barely getting any retweets. She's barely getting anything. And you know, like, it's not fair to pick on her. Almost every single diversity officer is the same. These people are paid to do absolutely nothing, and they're paid a ridiculous amount of money. So the reason I looked at this article is because it's written in Forbes, and in this particular case, it's almost like it's written in 2014. I mean, these people are so lazy that they haven't even updated their rhetoric. It's almost like they're living in the past. I mean, look at this, okay? Women make up almost half of gamers. I really hate this. Like, this is only from a person that don't play video games that say this. It's like saying women are half of the people who read books. It really matters. I mean, there's different genre of gaming. You know, there's horror games, there's action games, there's slot machine games. You need to separate them based on genre before you can add criticism to this, right? It's like me saying, you know, women are reading books. It's like, okay, but what type of books? You know, some books, like, for example, romance, like Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey, are more preferred by a female audience, while other books like horror is preferred by men. There's absolutely no problem with this. I don't think that everyone or every gender should like the same thing. It's just absolutely ridiculous of an argument. People would mock this if it had comment sections. But as usually, the comment sections have disabilities, so we don't really get to see what actual people have to say about this nonsense. And then her argument is like, you wouldn't know it by looking at the people. No, this is ridiculous. Like, look, this is the third time. Come on. They're trying to sabotage me, I swear. Like, they don't want this video to come out. Like, I ordered some memory RAM, and these people are so incompetent of sending it that they have to call me 6 times a day. Like, what on earth? Okay, so where was I? Yeah, the argument is absolutely stupid. It's like, okay, if women are playing games and the games are made by men, what is your point? I mean, there is nothing stopping women making games, except maybe at Naughty Dog Games. If you're too talented, they kick you out. The feminist men are replacing you. Amy Hennig had her meet up with Neil Druckmann. But other than that, you know, like, now it's more than ever easy to make games. Like, all you have to do is just make your own game and put it on Steam. That's literally it. I genuinely, like, do not understand this argument. Like, their argument is that if you're a company and you don't hire women, you're sexist. Like, if you're a company and you don't hire gay people, you're homophobic. And, you know, this grift never ends. Because even if you're a company that actually has 50-50 men and women, then they say, well, you don't have enough gay people. And if you have enough gay people, they're like, okay, well, you don't have enough black people. It's an endless grift. I mean, it's a problem that's not meant to be solved. It's a problem that's meant to give people like this positions of power so that they can make tens of thousands of dollars just by going to university and lecturing people, or being invited to companies to train diversity officers or other nonsense like that. You know, I'm willing to understand if someone comes up and say, look, this company didn't hire me because I'm gay. Like, yeah, that would be discrimination. But just because a company doesn't have gay people in it, that doesn't mean that it's homophobic. You know, like, if it's 6 friends that knew each other and they start their own company, does that mean that they're sexist because they didn't have a woman with them? It's absolute nonsense. No one thinks like this outside the West. This is peak biasness. So gaming is one of the sectors buoyed by global COVID lockdowns, and it's heading towards $160 billion. Yeah, so these people are salivating now. It's like, look how much money this industry is making. We should latch on like parasites and suck money out of it. It's literally what they're doing. And it's becoming a huge, if rather unrecognized, influencer of culture. No one believes that gaming is not recognized as an influencer of culture. Literally no one. Like, this is 2012, 2014 rhetoric. Update your writings, for the love of God. Predictive revenues far outstrip the historical references of what's popular, like music or movies. So this sector attitude to gender is having, and will increasingly have, an outsized impact of our future. Okay, so always they like, this is the thing that they're doing is like they're saying gaming is the most important thing, is like it's universities, and the question is like, okay, why haven't we co-opted yet? Like, why haven't we subverted? And the reason I'm reading this article is because this lady is unaware it's 2020, and it's already been subverted. But I'll tell you in a bit why it's funny. Because look at this nonsense, okay? Male characters selected. The astonishingly stereotypical depiction of sexy women. What game, woman? What on earth have you played? Like, this is not even a video gamer. Like, she doesn't play games. Is Abby from The Last of Us getting you moist? Like, when you look at Ellie from The Last of Us, is that a sexy woman? Have you seen the cast of Mortal Kombat? Like, where do you find these sexy women? Because I want to buy the game. I can't remember a game coming out recently that actually has sexy women, unless it's a Japanese game. And even then, they're complaining and whining about it. It's weird that I can't think of any game off of the top of my head that was released in 2019 or 2020 that actually has a sexy woman in it. You know, like the Tomb Raider, I guess, in Tomb Raider 1, and then they were really concerned about nerfing her tits in Tomb Raider 2 and Tomb Raider 3. And it's not just that the women are unappealing, but they make them as masculine as possible. I mean, look at the Jedi Fallen Order. Holy shit. Like, the actresses that they pick, you know, the actual human beings for the role model, they look like women. And then when they put them into the game, they look like these gender ambiguous creatures with broad shoulders, strong jawlines, short hair. Every single time they do this, okay? So this person clearly doesn't play video games. Do you see how easy her job is? Like, imagine being a football commentator and you don't know anything about football. Imagine being a movie critic and you don't watch movies. Like, this is what these people are doing, and they're getting paid for it. They're getting a lot of monies from these companies. They're leeching cash. And this is what diversity is about. Creating these positions of power. Creating these authoritarians that get paid more than the actual developers, more than the people that put in work. They never put extra hours. It's ridiculous. And they also say it's like, oh, it shows a pretty consistent picture of heavily male-dominated executive teams industry-wide. And here's the problem, right? They constantly say, oh, well, the women are sexy and the men are hunky. You say 46% of women are playing games. What games are they playing? You know, because it's important. Like, if they're playing Candy Crush and they're playing Facebook games, then you shouldn't criticize the other games that have sexy women. Like, what? And you know, do I think that it's okay to criticize Candy Crush and Farmville so that I play it more? Like, should we ask that Farmville has more sexy women placed in it so that men can play it more often? Like, no, it wouldn't be cool, right? Because you'd ruin something that other people are enjoying. Why is it that then you should ruin the thing that men are enjoying in this case? You know, it's absolutely astonishing, like, how these people are thinking. And the companies that fall into this are absolute morons. You know, the get woke, go broke, this is why it happens. Like, you have something that works, like Mortal Kombat. You know, it's a game that sells based on sex appeal and violence, which is very appealing to teenagers. Like, that's what teenagers are into, right? Why would you remove that? Because if you remove that, they think that the original customers are going to get over it and they're going to still buy the game, and somehow it's going to attract like more women or whatever into it. It never works. Because this idea that female gamers don't want to play games that have sexy women in it is not backed by data. I have not seen any study that shows that female gamers are put off by characters like Bayonetta. I don't see it. Like, they constantly claim it as if it's truth, but I've never seen it. No, in reality, from what I understand, is like most women are not attracted into these types of genres. Like, these types of genres require you, like fighting games, for example, they require you to spend many hours in training. They require you to invest a lot into the game. And a lot of women aren't into that. Like, they prefer games that they can play at a bus stop. They prefer some games that they can play on Facebook while talking with their friends. They prefer some canasta. And it's absolutely fine. You know, and again, like I'm basing this on studies that show what type of genres women are into. They don't have to be into the same things. Like I wouldn't want to change canasta, and in order for me to get into it, like it's not my type of game. It's fine. But again, like these people need to grift. They need to talk about things to justify their position of power. So they look at the companies and they count like how many men are there and how many women. You know, like as if the implication is that everyone wants to be a CEO. Like I would probably not want to be a CEO, you know? And the idea that everyone wants to go into tech, I mean, did you even look at how many people apply for tech jobs before making this? Because, you know, like the assumption is that the number of applicants for a tech job is half men, half women. And I don't know, maybe it is. You'd have to show me a study. You'd have to show me some statistics. Because I don't think that's the case. Not everyone is cut to work in IT. I, for example, do not like to work in IT. I don't like math. But they don't want to take these factors into consideration. Because then they don't get the result that they want. And the result that they want is that men are gatekeeping women from joining companies, which again is absolutely ridiculous. Because if that was the case, why wouldn't women just start their own companies? Like if women are so passionate about video games and women just are being gatekept by men, why don't they start their own independent projects? Why don't they start their Kickstarters? Why don't they start making games? What's stopping them? There is no answer to this. There is absolutely no answer to this. I for example, as a gamer, I don't care who makes the game. If the game is good, I'll play it. You know, like, do you honestly think that I would look at a good game and say, oh, this was made by women? So they go on and they say that despite what The Economist describes as President Xi Jinping crackdown on online addiction, blood, butchery, boobs, and bums, there are rules for how much skin a female avatar can show. The gender nature of gaming world will have an impact in the huge Chinese market and globally. And by the way, like China is going to utterly debunk their ridiculous propositions. Because once China starts banning, you know, all of the boobiness and all of the gore and everything like that, then we'll see if you're right. Like if I will see, you know, like in China, 70% of women are now playing the censored version of Mortal Kombat, I'll be like, you know what, these people were right all along. But I have a feeling that that's not the case. Do you know, like, for example, why women don't play the same video games that I do? Because I tried getting like a lot of girls to play. There's two main reasons that I noticed that women do not play the same video games or watch the same movies that I do. Number one, violence. This is like the overwhelming amount of cases. Most women that I try to get them to watch the things that I enjoy or to play the games that I like, they say, no, this game is too violent. This movie is too violent. And they don't like that. You know, that's not what they're into. I'm not into romance. And I don't like romantic comedies. They bore the living hell out of me. I don't want to watch them. You know, and it's just my thing. And it's their thing not to watch the things that I do. And the second reason why women don't get into video games is complexity. Like they just don't like to, you know, like they like playing some Candy Crush. And when I saw how one of my exes was playing Candy Crush, I was like, she was randomly clicking, like click, 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 and just hoping to just get things aligned. And I'm like, I don't understand like the enjoyment and the entertainment out of it, but like if she's getting it, that's fine. You know, but my point is, why am I able to articulate these things? Why am I able to say these things when a person that actually gets paid for a living doesn't understand them at all? And the reason they don't understand them is because they don't have to understand them. All they need to do is to grift and to call companies sexists and get money for it. It's like a racket. It's like a racket. It's like, oh, nice company you have there. Wouldn't it be a shame if someone were to call you a sexist? And, you know, like they talk about the companies that have more women, blah, blah, blah. And this is in Forbes. You know, this is in Forbes. They haven't fact-checked the article. Again, saying that women in video games now, they are sexy. Tell me the video game from 2019, 2020, where you have sexy women as a protagonist. Because I literally kind of, maybe like Streets of Rage 4, you know, like that would be something. But like, that's an indie game. It was crowdfunded. It's not a AAA thing. Like, I can't think of any AAA that has sexy women. Anyway, rant over. Let me know what you think. I'll see you guys in the comment section. I need to go to sleep.